Hi everybody, and welcome back to my videos, whether you're watching on YouTube or on Rumble, whichever one you happen to be watching this on. In this video, we're going to be talking about the recent leaked emails from, supposed leaked emails from the Epsteins about Epstein supposedly incriminating Trump. So, let's go back over this. Let's go over the claim. Okay? This email is from April 2011. Recipient, Ghislaine Maxwell, is that how you pronounce her name? Okay, so the key excerpt. So this is according to Grok. I am looking at Grok right now. As I'm asking, because I asked Grok if anything had been going on about that. If anything was released, because I didn't hear about that until I saw a video about that. That must be why I'm seeing all these posts about on Twitter or X about how about Democrats. I think, see, I told you Trump was hiding something. You guys have been conned, man. Like they act like that this is the big. See, I told you so. I mean, the Democrats are jumping the gun with the "I told you so"s, and I was wondering what that was about. As if some big revelation suddenly came forward that I didn't hear about. Okay, so. This is the part that's supposedly incriminating Trump. And it's an email from Epstein to Ghislaine Maxwell. I want you to realize that the dog that hasn't barked yet is Trump. Then it has the victim's name redacted. Spent hours at my house with him. He never has been once mentioned. Also, he has never once been mentioned. Okay, so the victim spent hours with him, so that's what the claim is. And then it says the context and implication. Epstein refers to Trump as someone who hasn't publicly criticized him. The dog that hasn't barked yet. The dog that hasn't barked. So that's referring to. Despite close proximity to a redacted victim later identified by Republicans as Virginia. I don't know how to pronounce that. Her last name. Giuffre. I do not know how to pronounce that. So I'm not even going to try. I will have her name in the description, however. So yeah. This implies Trump was present during potentially compromising situations but stayed silent. This is the claim that Epstein is making. Okay? Once again, victim. Okay? This right here, April so for 2011, that's when that one email. Then the next email from January 2019, Michael Wolf. Okay, and it has victim, Mar-a-Lago identifier, whoever that is. Trump said he asked me to resign, never a member, ever. Of course, Trump knew about the girls. He asked Ghislaine to stop. This is a claim that Epstein is making about Trump. And apparently Epstein is known to be a liar, so we don't know how much of this is true. Okay? Epstein claims Trump knew about the underage girls and intervened by asking Maxwell to halt certain activities. it references Trump's Mar-a-Lago club and Epstein's ousters from it. This is what Grok is telling me is the context and implications are. Okay. And this right here is from December 2015. Once again to Michael Wolff, so a few years earlier. And it's an email from Epstein. Okay, it's a discussion of crafting responses for Trump's CNN interview about his ties. If he says he hasn't been on the plane or to the house, then that gives you a valuable PR and political currency. Epstein and Wolff strategized on managing public perceptions of Trump's Epstein connections during his 2016 campaign. And when you know, it's still going on today. Well, when that conspiracy, they're still trying to make connections. And this is other mentions, etc., to 2017-2018, various, and this is the recipients, various, and it has various, e.g., an example, Larry Summers. I have met some very bad people, none as bad as Trump, not one decent cell in his body. Know how dirty Trump is. Now this is the email that Larry Summers got from Epstein, okay, because Epstein expresses his personal disdain for Trump in private correspondence, unrelated to the core allegations but adding to the narrative of a strained relationship. Okay? So, this right here is a claim that, all these are claims that Epstein is making, okay? That's what this is. Now, this is according to Grok, under the heading the victim's identity. It says Democrats redacted the victim's name to protect privacy, or so they say. That's my part, not Grok's part. My part is, or so they say. Republicans, in their counter release of 20,000 plus documents, unredacted as Virginia, and once again I cannot pronounce her last name. Okay? A prominent Epstein accuser who died by suicide in 2025, so this year. And the alleged victim, 2016 disposition and posthumous memoirs explicitly stated she never witnessed Trump engaging in abuse and described him as friendly in their limited interactions. She worked briefly at Mar-a-Lago Spa in 2000 at the age of 16, where she met Epstein. So Grok says that Democrats redacted out the victim's name in order to protect privacy, but I believe that there's more nefarious reason for doing so. Okay, because if you can't identify if you have an alleged victim, that means you can't verify the fact. And here's the thing: people who are anti-Trump, they believe anything negative that they hear about Trump. Okay, Democrats get totally, they can just release a fake document connecting Trump to the Epstein files and saying that they can release a fake one, and people who are anti-Trump, they would buy it. Okay? They would buy it like it's nobody's business. Okay? Now, this right here is being used to strike a narrative, to push a narrative. So let's go over to the heading, the stuff that's under the heading in the broader context and response, because this is all according to Grok. It says, release process. Democrats highlighted 3 emails to strike a blow against the White House. The White House's Epstein cover-up, or which is in quotations, or so-called, strike a blow against the White House's Epstein cover-up. So they claim that the White House is covering up the release of the Epstein files. And here's the thing. The same people who are talking about that, they never cared about the Epstein files when Biden was in office. Where was the energy to release the Epstein files during Biden's term? How come they didn't care about it then? They only care about the Epstein files now because they believe Trump is in it. But what they overlook is, what they keep forgetting is that if Trump was actually in the Epstein files, the Biden administration could have released it to prevent his second term as president. Okay? So, I'm going to continue. Hours later, Republicans released the full batch, arguing it showed Democrats cherry-picking to create a fake narrative. Well, I'm going to agree with the Republicans there, because it seems like they are correct. Again, I am reading from Grok. Okay, all of this is from Grok. The 4 documents include Epstein's negative views of Trump, but no criminal evidence against him. I'm assuming him being Trump, so no criminal evidence against Trump. White House reaction. Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt, if I said her name correctly, called it a bad-faith distraction from Trump's historic accomplishments in the shutdown. Trump posted on Truth Social, Democrats are trying to bring the Epstein hoax, the Jeffrey Epstein hoax again. Bring up the Jeffrey Epstein hoax again. I can't talk today. To reflect on how badly they've done. Yeah, but right now, I mean, it seems like they've got a point. Okay? And then it says, public and media discussion on X, formerly Twitter. Reactions are polarized. This is what I'm reading off of off of Grok, by the way. Reactions are polarized. Supporters decree it as a hoax tied to Virginia's. I cannot pronounce her last name. It has her last name right here, but I don't know how to pronounce it. But the alleged victim's exoneration of Trump. While critics amplify the knew about the girls line, older Epstein files releases the 2024 unsealed files mentioned Trump, but were later debunked or walked back by accusers like Sarah Ransom. Well, that's an interesting last name. It almost sounds like... Well, anyways, here's the thing though. The news about the girls line is very interesting, but I'm going to go back over that later. Ongoing investigation. This ties into bipartisan pressure to full DOJ FBI release of the Epstein files, promised but delayed by the Trump administration, supposedly, or unless there's a reason for that. A House vote on forcing disclosure is expected soon. These emails substantiate Epstein's private claims of Trump's awareness, but rely on Epstein's unverified word. A convicted liar known for manipulation, they add to scrutiny of Trump's Epstein ties, but haven't led to legal action. Okay, so I'm going to stop right there. I almost read the rest of that because it's telling me to go to another source. I was reading all of that off of Grok. So basically, these are still unverified claims from Epstein himself. Okay? Even the part that Trump supposedly knew about the girls. That claim, again, was unverified by Epstein himself. And he had already shown his, disdain towards Trump at that point. So he had a negative opinion towards Trump. And so he didn't like Trump. So these right here was lies, okay? Especially since him and Trump had a falling out in 2004. Okay? I mean, yes, Trump and Epstein used to be friends until Trump found out the truth about him and who he really was. Okay? I mean, I guess Epstein was a very good con artist, and like that said, and probably hid his true nature around certain people who he knew wouldn't accept him for who he was. That's what I'm assuming. But nonetheless, there is still no evidence that Trump had any involvement in anything that Epstein did. Okay? Okay? Even the victim exonerated Trump. And this idea that Trump knew about the underage girls, that is a unverified, unproven claim relying on the word of Giuffre Epstein, who was a known liar and manipulator. Again, it has never been proven that people have so much Trump derangement syndrome that they believe anything negative that they hear about Trump. Okay? They believe anything negative that they hear about Trump. This is all unverified, okay? These are all unverified claims. Okay? And the alleged victim exonerated Trump. And again, I'm sorry that I cannot pronounce her name. Okay, Virginia, I cannot pronounce her last name. I'm going to try to, if I remember, I'm going to have it in the description of this video. Bye.